Good morning, and today is that of Tuesday. It is that of Crypto Day, the 29th day of May, and I'd like to welcome you to the newly named show, which is just a name to put on the title, and I'll call that the Crypto Day morning. I originally started off with a 2.5 minute morning, which would be a video around 2.5 minutes. That got a little difficult in time. Then the 4 minute morning. Again, a little difficult in time with one scenario where I really only wanted to go 2.5 minutes and I really pushed it forward. And most of the time, 5, 6, and even a couple days ago, 8 minutes long. So I'm going to be entitling it such, the Crypto Day morning. Now, the two things that I don't want to have happen is pretty much nobody to watch my videos and pretty much everybody to watch my videos. I don't think I could be able to handle having consistently 3, 4, 5, 8, 9,000 views on my videos by any means. I got a long ways to go for that to be a problem. But when I look at the view counts, and first of all these comments on here, this is 9,415, the vast majority of them are spam comments, almost like different types of vermins or bugs that are invading you in mass. But you know what? They're useless and they're just easy to push away. Although all the comments that do come in, I really do appreciate what has come through. But we look at the views in the videos. Try to find a 200 view video. You have to go back several days to May the 21st, including 55 in here. But that should go without saying, given the length and the subject of such. So therefore, as this video says, it's Derek's World. So basically, I'm just putting out the videos that I wish to point out, and I'm going to do so right now, starting with Bitcoin. And of course, like always, everything within your own risk and your own reward. Interesting update for Bitcoin is it has just recently gained about $400. And one quick move at about 7:30 this morning, price action up well over 0.5% or around such a number, as price action coming close to the 18 average of lows while it's been in this grinding its way lower for the last close to a week. Within this market that has been overall down or bearish for the last half year, and price action significantly below this correctionary band, having a spot where probability for declining prices is very high. Makes it very difficult to trust any rallies for short-term movements coming forward, which means it could very easily continue up towards these levels in here short-term, even very short-term, which would be meeting up with the 18 average of highs. 7,900 does represent a very key Fibonacci number as well, as that is the 23.6% number from the $20,000 highs and the $6,000 lows. And it's got to get well above that. It's got to show bullish signals around and above that area to start talking about this thing going higher. With that being said, the one thing I figured out firsthand from trading, and I've noticed it along the way to continue on further, that whenever a good setup of one sort looks really, really good, and it doesn't do such, you can expect a wild, violent move in the opposite direction quite frequently, or much more than chance would allow, significantly much higher than chance would allow. So if this down move doesn't occur, and there's a large part of me that doesn't want to see it go anywhere near, anywhere below the 6,000 number, and then just start shooting up higher and let any of my short positions lose, because they're nothing more than hedges and my portfolio looks so much better on higher prices. But the market's going to do what it's going to do. And if the market, and if the big institutional players are ready to buy now, and I'm not saying that they are, but I am saying if they are, and they execute the strategy to accumulate Bitcoins and other cryptocurrencies, then the prices will go up very, very high. And it's Not, and you can go over to them and say, hey, wait a second, there's this one technical analysis indicator and this one and that one there that's saying the prices aren't supposed to go up. I don't think you're allowed to buy this market up, Mr. or Mrs. I don't give a beep, and I shouldn't have to beep it, but about what they're saying, they're just going to bring it up, and that's how the market plays. 15-minute time frame. This is the move in here. Price is at about 7,100 low, and it goes to about 7,500. It is now correcting at the 74 mark. We look at this on a 1-minute time frame. The action has had a sideways range between 73.81 and about 74.32. Since that point, it has been solid within that range now for about 1 hour time. It's almost 9 a.m. Eastern time, and it was getting solid in that range at about 8 o'clock Eastern time. Moving on to a few altcoins. NXS, after this wonderful pattern, hugging the 18 average of highs with major resistance at around the 28. What do I talk about when these things break key levels? Expect to have decent sized moves up. This broke a key level, and it's having a decent sized move up right now. Man, the past tense, present tense, and future tense. Sometimes just for fun, if there's any type of live event, if you go to Wikipedia and say the event starts in 20 minutes, it's 8 o'clock, something starts and it's 7:50. If you go to the Wikipedia page, they'll say blah, blah, blah will be a, and they'll explain it. And then you click on it when the event's starting, blah, blah, blah is a, and then the event's over, you check it a few hours later, and blah, blah, blah was a. So it's in the current tense of breaking out amongst that level of resistance. We look at this on a single hour time frame. We can see that it pretty much got out above that point at roughly last night. Somewhere around the 29 number is where it solidly broke out above the resistance. But you can see that it wasn't having much of an uptrend at around 1,500, 1,700, 1,800 hours on the 28th. But it has a nice move above the 18 highs on the single hour time frame here. There's the comeback of support. You see the market moving within this 18, that as it's leaving the 18 average of highs, you're not surprised to see this good leg higher. Now it's been coming down, and it's just starting another correctionary phase within such. Cyber Miles, CMT, 1 hour time frame, it continues to go up against the fiat currency, which means on the daily chart it is current tense, breaking out past this key 76.4% Fibonacci level, an area of established resistance within its trading as well. This is day number 1 of such. It's got a price target I have in at its previous high as its next level. Whenever you have an area of resistance or support and then you take it out decently, which was the case here, that's a level I'd now be looking for support. So this area between 32.5 cents up to 37.2 cents, I'm looking at as support now. Now let's take a quick look at some of the alts like ADA, which has had a regaining of yesterday's losses and a bit more, but it is still in this declining 18 average set as we are looking at it. Litecoin against the US dollar, practically doing the same thing as Bitcoin. However, it started going up at 730 and then went sideways. This started going up earlier and is having a nice little grind. It's, well, you can just look at this pattern in here. It's going sideways in a nice uptrend, 1 minute time frame. So there you can see it goes up and just chopping up and down. Interesting when you look at this on a 1 minute time frame. This is really cool. Yeah, you can say it was a matching hit of support, but high, which of course was where it came back to, another one, and another one. Now you notice when it found support here, it found the higher low, which is what you are expecting. When you have a spot where even just coming back to this low, it becomes very much a concern that, okay, it might rally like this, but somewhere around here you would expect it to sell off, but instead it has broken this just a couple minutes ago to the upside. So this most certainly has the potential to keep going higher on the very short term, considering this is the 1 minute time frame. By the time you watch this, this is going to be decently passe, whereas the daily charts will still have a lot of the same relevance. But the same thing here, it's up towards that key point of the 18 of lows. It's got to get above these points, as I state, get above the 18, have it flatten out, either explode from that point and just OMG, what a move, or establish a bullish setup, which is going to take a decent amount of work. And after you do that, you can then look at even longer term time frames and see, okay, this is a market on the 3-day, which has had a great move higher back last March, going from $4 all the way up to almost 190 and something. This is a sideways correction that happened, and another move higher up to 400. So we've had the sideways correction. What key points does it need to get above? Well, it has to get above this one at 179. That's still a little bit of ways away, but it also needs to do the same thing here and show that it's able to find strength amongst this. It's well below the 18. It's declining, but in my book, it's a neutral 18. So when I see prices rising to a declining 18, like in Bitcoin and against the dollar, it makes you very cautious. When you see prices rising with a rising 18, well, you're in a full-fledged bull market. And in this spot, you have a neutral average for the most part, because we got a range at about 108. It's tough to give it a resistance range because it's had 3 significant different points. But that's why I say the first area it needs to get above is here. And then just show me some sort of bullish setup within the 18. For the last time you can say such was when it had its beautiful run at the end of 2017. When it came up here to the 18, what it needed to do to show me a bullish setup was just go high and just, wow, what a beautiful move. Or maybe do something like come up here, 18 starts to rise, come back down, and then just have some sort of newly established resistance, just a nice little setup, sort of like the NXS code and the CMT was showing. Because with NXS, we can see that on its daily time frame, it had this nice little bullish setup. That's the type of thing that I'm talking about when you're looking for. I don't care which nice setup it is. I can look at 10, 20 different ones that I'm familiar with. But when you have the price action, as we state right now, below the 18 average of lows, whether it's neutral or declining, it makes it very difficult right now to say that this thing is ready to go just purely on the technical analysis. But you know at some point it's going to do so, especially when you understand the fundamentals of fiat currency. So then it comes up in here. Now, what happened here? What happened was the price came down from this point and it had its 6th consecutive up day in a row, getting barely above the 18 average of highs, making the declining average start to go flat. And then it comes back to its correctionary phase. It obviously corrected its support effectively because it bottomed there and it 18 averaged, it didn't go below the 18 of lows. And then you have this green candle up back to where it came from. And then you barely broke it. Oftentimes, from failed breakouts to the upside, you can get a fast move to the downside. Or a failed breakout to the downside, fast move to the upside. I don't see no fast move down yet. And this is moderate. If I was to grade a test on how well you did or how well your performance was singing at the studio, I would say it kind of sucked. And I'm being frank and real. I just It sucked. I mean, it was there. It could have been worse, but it sucked. Now, again, this isn't pattern has to get over it. This fast move can still happen. This thing could very easily come up to the 18 that's declining and then roll over because there's nothing for it to show that it has changed. So we look at this back in the past. I can move all these drawings later. I'm trying to scroll over, remove all indicators. Well, I'll show you how to put all them in again. People have asked me, how do you get the indicators in? You see insert indicator? I probably have to do this on average 2 to 3 times a month because I accidentally delete it. I'm looking for first volume. VWAP, this is volume weighted moving average, or where's the volume weighted, yeah, VWAP. I just don't understand how they work. I want a volume weighted average price or a running average from key levels. I can't figure out how to do it. And then a moving average weighted, I will click it twice. And why didn't they come up? There they are. So I'm going to format this. It's going to be 18. And we're going to do high. And I'm just trying to think of where I was trying to go with this, and that's actually historical analysis on breakout of the trend within this time frame. So here's another spot where it had broken out of this resistance, showing the potential for the failed breakout fast move lower. When I talk about markets have to, I want to see it hold and stay above a particular area, meaning it can go lower, it just can't stay lower. This is the exact meaning for such for the September 13th time frame. The price action nowhere near stayed below 45, and it held and stayed above that point. So now you're looking for bullish setup. See, this is the type of thing that I'm looking for. You can see here before this that it had its move with a bullish setup in regards to the 18. Now in this situation here, this is why when I say something's just got to go up strong, because in here there was nothing to point out that this thing was just ready to fly and a big monstrous move of multiple full times higher was going to occur. And these can happen at any time, more so in a bullish situation. Then you get the neutral and negative ones. This was definitely neutral. And then up she goes. Big, big, big moves. So they can just happen at any time. And when something like this happens, this forces you to be extremely fast with how you are going to react within this market. And if you're looking to sell, then sometimes being really fast would be a bad thing. And if something just happened to make it so I've been meaning to sell, and then all of a sudden it's 83, and then you could buy back at 42, whatever. But the markets at any time can just have these magnificent large moves. You could have the most bearish of ideas and setups that are naturally coming its way. So be it. So then, this is a much longer video, but like I stated, I've given up on making just consistent short videos just to try to have good views, because I really kind of wanted to see if I could consistently put up 800 to 2,000 views. But it becomes a problem if it gets like 3, 4, 5, 8,000, definitely over 10,000. I'll explain more later on, mostly because I like the freedom of not being able to move the market too much, having a whole bunch of major comments section. I don't want to be as popular as JSnip4 or any of the other major vloggers. So thank you for tuning in and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.